share. All right. Maybe. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so like Colin said, first I'm Chris, and I'm going to be talking about using Pry with Rails. It's just a better debugger than Herb. All right. So can you see the sidebar there? Like, is everybody? All right.
I don't see your presentation.
Okay. All right. Okay. So first, what is Pry? It's what's called REPL. It's when you pass a script in, it does several things. First, it reads, evaluates, prints, and then it does a loop. So basically, Pry is just Herb with superpowers. It's a really good debugger, but then there's other really neat things that it does. It's like a gist integration, so you can send your code right up to gist as a command system and a lot more. Okay, so let's go ahead and install. And it's a gem, so it's pretty easy to do. So you just do gem install Pry, and that gives you all the basics. And then if you do pry-doc, that actually gives you the ability to get to the Ruby core. And then the --no-ri and --no-rdoc, that just simply says don't install the documentation. And then you want to go into your gem file and use gem Pry, but you don't want it for everything. You just want it for development. So you use group development. And then, of course, when you mess with your gem file, you want to do bundle install. And then to get all the functionality within your entire environment, you want to do pry-r.config/environment. And that just loads, like I said, the full environment for Ruby. All right, and then that gives you access to Pry. So if you go into Rails C in your console, you can manually enter Pry by just typing Pry. Or if you want to make it your default instead of Herb, you go into your config folder and in your environment and development, and you put this little snippet in. It's silence warnings, and you use that because Rails is not going to like you not using Herb, so it's going to throw up a bunch of warnings. So to tell it that it's okay, you just do silence warnings, do require Pry, and then Herb equals Pry. All right, and then these are just some basics that you can do with Pry, and we'll go over those at the end if we have time. All this stuff's in the documentation, so it's pretty easy to find. But I would like to go ahead and jump into a live demo. So hopefully this goes good for me. All right, so I'm going to do our chess app here. I guess we'll get started. All right, so we're going to try, and this is some old code. Just I grabbed something, pulled it down, and oops. Hopefully this works. Live demos, okay. So the white knight moves okay. So let's try a pawn. All right, and that's telling us that that move is not allowed. So obviously there's a problem because the black pawn can move too. All right, so we're going to jump into our code here and just look. When the pieces update, it calls this validate move. And I guess the two biggest ones are right here that it's going to call on: valid move and nil move. So since the knight moved okay, I'm going to assume it's something within the pawn logic, and I'm going to go there, and this is what it's calling. So what we'll do is jump in. All right. Okay, we are going to jump in right here and put binding.pry and then save the file. And that just tells us, it tells Pry that's where we want it to stop it. So we're going to go back here. Oops, sorry about that. And we're going to try our move again. Okay, and it seems like nothing's happening, but if you look up here, it's working. So let's go over here, and right here you can see Pry has stopped the load, and it's telling us that this is where we are. This little hash rocket here is telling us this is where Pry is stopped. So then we can just go in and copy the next one. And if you look at this code, all of these have to return true for it to pass. So we'll do the first one. That one return true. Second one return true. And this is just a really easy example, just real quick to show you. Okay, that one return true. The last one better be the wrong one, or else we're in trouble. All right, so that one returned false. So we'll just jump back into our code, and I'm going to comment that one out. And then the problem was down here with the diagonal diagonal move allowed. So I'm going to put the binding.pry there. Save it again. And then look at the code and see if I can figure out. And I know that the diagonal move is supposed to allow the pawn to move in a diagonal position if it's going to take another piece. But in this case, we're just trying to move straight, and there's no piece to take. So I obviously forgot to add in an if statement there, because if we're just moving straight, then we want it to return true and then leave that method. So return true if our new x equals, our x position. All right, and then that's going to run through, and let's see if it lets us move. And there, it let us move. So that shows us that that was the bug in our code. So we can go back in and put that in there and remove the pry. Oops. Okay, save it. All right, and then we'll try to move a white pawn and make sure that that worked. Okay, so it looks like that took care of our bug in the code. But so that's really easy to go in, and it saved us time. Obviously, we didn't have to go through all the different methods and say, okay, that code all looks good. So it's definitely a help, and it kind of earned me the nickname in our group as the exterminator, because anytime there was a bug, I'd just grab Pry and jump in there and kind of fix the code. So let me show you some of these real basic things that come with Pry. So if you type Rails C, and I loaded it in as my default, so it's going to come up with Pry. And right here it tells you Pry, and you're in your main, the main part of Pry right now. And it's kind of like the shell commands. You can CD to different classes. So within my chess app, we have the game model. So I CD'd into that. And if I type game, well, that didn't work. Sorry. It worked earlier. So CD and a piece. All right. And then you can do, okay, there you go. So you can call methods. You can call methods on these. So there's the first and then last. And it just kind of gives you a rundown of everything. And then to get out of this, you just CD up, just like you would in the shell commands, or you can just hit exit all, and that just kind of gets you out of there. So that's basically a brief rundown. Let me go back to the presentation here and show you some of the places where you can learn more. There's a Rails cast for this that's really good, so that is the link. It's episode 280. Josh Cheek has a Vimeo video that's an introduction to Pry, and it's really good. And then there's obviously pryREPL.org, and that takes you to it has links for all the wiki and the documentation. So I guess if there's any questions, I'll try to answer those now.
I've got questions.
Oh boy. All right, Colin.
How does the gist integration work? Because that sounds like an awesome idea. Like, can I just like shoot it up to GitHub's gist servers and like have my code there? Yeah,
it's really neat. I haven't done it, but I watched a video on it, and I think it is the Josh Cheek video, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you just tell Pry to shoot it up to its, I can't even remember the command, but give me a second here. If you
that's still awesome no matter what.
Yeah, if you type in, no, darn it. No, forgot my, okay. So if you just type in help, once it loads, it'll give you all the options here. So right here, where's the gist? Don't see it right now. But it tells you, yeah, somewhere down in here is the gist, and right here it is. So
I had no idea that Pry was so much more. Like, I've only used it for stupid, simple things. No. Instead of putting a put statement in my code so I could see.
Oh, I know. And I used to do that. And then, like, I'm gonna give a shout out to my mentor, because he's like, why are you not using Pry? I was like, I have no idea what Pry is. So he's the one that showed me the basics. And there's so much more that I don't even know how to do. But yeah, if you do this gist, it shoots it up and it gives you the URL, and it's just really amazing what this can do. And like I said, I don't know the half of it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, look in the documentation. It's very well spelled out in the wiki.
Awesome. You have any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right.
Thumbs up for me. This was super awesome.
Yeah, super helpful. Great job. Again, you bring it. All right.
Yeah, I have to apologize for the chalkboard. I'm kind of in teacher mode with the homeschooling, so if it was a little, that's why.